I never thought betrayal could come from the people who were supposed to protect me. One morning, I walked into my room and saw the empty space where my $4,200 gaming PC once stood, the machine I had saved for. Dreamed about, built with my own hands. My parents had sold it just to fund another one of my sister's endless shopping sprees. That was the moment something inside me broke. But what I didn't realize then was that walking out of that house would change not just my future, but the way I would ever see love and family again. For most of my life, I had been the quiet one, the background character in my own family. My sister was the favorite, the shining star who could do no wrong, while I was the one expected to sacrifice, to bend, to stay silent. My escape had always been my PC. It wasn't just a machine, it was my world. I had saved every dollar from part-time jobs, skipped outings with friends, and poured my heart into building it. It was my safe place, my passion, my dream. Love, relationships. They always felt like luxuries I couldn't afford. I'd watch couples laugh together in cafes, holding hands like the world wasn't falling apart, and wonder what it would be like to be chosen, to be someone's priority. But in my house, I had learned early on that love was conditional, and I wasn't the one who qualified. Still, somewhere inside me, a small flame kept burning, a stubborn hope that one day I'd find someone who saw me, who valued me not for what I could give up, but for who I was. And yet, that hope often felt like a cruel joke, because every time I tried to believe in it, reality reminded me just how disposable I was to the people who should have loved me most. I didn't know it then, but the day they took my PC would also be the day life forced me to confront not just betrayal, but a choice that would determine whether I kept living in their shadow, or finally stepped into my own light. The day I discovered my PC was gone, it felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. The empty desk stared back at me like a cruel joke. My heart sank, and for a moment I couldn't breathe. That machine wasn't just about games. It was my dream, my late-night project, my future. I had plans, streaming, design work, maybe even turning it into something more. And now it was gone, sold without my consent, like my efforts had meant nothing. I confronted them, of course. My parents brushed it off with their usual rehearsed lines. Your sister needed it more, or you can always save up again. Save up again? It had taken me years. I wanted to scream, to break something, to finally make them see me. But when I looked into their faces, I saw nothing but indifference. That cut deeper than any words could. The betrayal wasn't just about money, it was about love, or rather, the lack of it. For years, I had told myself their favoritism didn't bother me, that I could survive in the shadows as long as I had my small sanctuary. But now they had taken even that. I packed a bag that night, not knowing where I would go. The city lights outside my window seemed to whisper promises of freedom and loneliness all at once. As I stuffed clothes into my backpack, memories of my sister's smug smile burned in my mind. She had always gotten everything handed to her: new clothes, new phones, vacations, while I learned to settle for scraps. And now she had taken the one thing I had earned for myself. I remember pausing, hands shaking, as a thought struck me. Was this what love was supposed to look like? Sacrifice, dismissal, invisibility. I had never been in love, not really, but I knew in my bones it wasn't supposed to feel like this. It wasn't supposed to hurt this much. As I zipped up my bag, a surge of fear clawed at me. Could I survive on my own? Could I have the strength to walk away forever? But beneath the fear was something stronger: anger, determination, maybe even self-respect. I couldn't live in a house where I was nothing more than an afterthought. So I walked out, heart pounding, not daring to look back. The night air hit me like a shot, cold and sharp. I had no map, no plan, only an annoying hunger for freedom. And yet, as I stepped into the unknown, I couldn't shake the haunting question: would leaving finally set me free? Or was I about to lose everything I'd ever known? The first night on my own was the loneliest of my life. I sat on a bus stop bench with nothing but my backpack and a few crumpled bills in my pocket, staring at the blur of headlights rushing past. The world felt impossibly big, and I felt impossibly small. Fear clawed at me. What if I had made a mistake? What if I couldn't make it on my own? And then, as if fate wanted to test me, my phone buzzed. A message from him. The only person who had ever made me feel seen. We weren't officially anything, just late-night texts, shared smiles across coffee counters, the kind of connection you keep hidden because you're not sure the world would understand. He asked where I was. I hesitated, thumb hovering over the screen, my pride screaming at me not to confess the truth. But the weight of betrayal crushed me, and the words spilled out. I left home. They sold my PC. I can't go back. Minutes later, his reply appeared. Where are you? I'm coming. My chest tightened. Part of me longed to see him, to let someone hold me when I felt like I was falling apart. But another part trembled with fear. Was I about to lean on him too much? Was this desperation masquerading as love? When his car finally pulled up, headlights cutting through the night, I froze. I could see his silhouette in the driver's seat, waiting, patient, ready to take me somewhere safe. My heart ached with both relief and terror. If I stepped inside, everything would change. I would be crossing not just a physical distance from my family, but an invisible line into a future tied to someone else's choices as much as my own. I gripped the straps of my bag so tightly my knuckles burned. Could I trust him? Could I trust myself? The night air was thick with unspoken promises, and as I stood on that curb, one truth echoed louder than the rest. Sometimes the scariest step isn't leaving home. It's deciding who you'll let catch you when you fall. I sat in his car that night, the hum of the engine filling the silence between us. For the first time in years, I wasn't invisible. He didn't ask me why I left or tell me to go back. He just drove, steady and calm, as if he knew I needed space more than questions. The city lights flickered across the windshield, and for once, I felt like the world wasn't closing in on me, but opening up. The days that followed were anything but easy. I found a tiny room to rent, picked up extra shifts, and learned the hard way that freedom comes with its own price. But every struggle carried a strange sweetness. It was mine. My choices, my pain, my victories. And slowly, I started to realize that leaving home hadn't broken me. It had rebuilt me. As for him, he stayed. Not in grand gestures or promises, but in quiet consistency, the late-night coffee. He'd bring after my shift the way he listened when I spoke about my dreams, the rare but uncheckable look in his eyes that told me I was worth more than scraps. It wasn't a fairy tale, and maybe it never would be. But for the first time, I let myself believe that love could be something more than betrayal. It could be a choice, freely given and freely received. Sometimes I still think about that empty desk, the one where my dream PC used to sit. Losing it felt like losing everything, but now I see it differently. That desk wasn't the end, it was the beginning. A painful, necessary push into a life where I could finally choose myself. And maybe that's the hardest question of all. Do we only discover who we are after losing what we thought we couldn't live without?